Hello everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. This will be my breakdown for episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. Now, I have to say that I'm really liking this show. I'm really enjoying watching this show a lot. And we're already in the second episode, and I know that the show is a bit slow and it doesn't have this big hook like the Mandalorian did with the first episode of season 1 and the first episode of season 2. But I think we had to wait. The show I think is very good. So let's see how it progresses with the remaining 5 episodes. Now, what I like is this show and what I'm enjoying it is I like the vibe of the show, and it really feels like Star Wars, but I mean classic Star Wars from the first trilogy, and I really digging this. So let's get into the breakdown, and let's start with the big thing here is the Wookiee, the badass Wookiee. Now this Wookiee is named Black Chrysanthemum. Now he also has a nickname, is most shorter, and his nickname is Santi. Now he's from the Marvel's Star Wars comics, and his first appearance was in Star Wars Darth Vader #1. Now where he showed up, by the way, with Boba Fett, as they were both working for Jabba at the time. So I don't know why Boba Fett, when he first saw him, he didn't recognize it. Eh, but I think that maybe they're not. Well, the, he's from the comics and they put him here, but maybe they just put the character and not the backstory of him, because they have worked together, him and Boba Fett, at least in the comics. So I think that Boba Fett should have given a little nah, but he didn't. Now, so Santi, he was trained as a gladiator and he turns into a bounty hunter. He had a run with Obi-Wan as well. Maybe he will show up in the Obi-Wan series. And he also worked with Dr. Aphra. And Dr. Aphra, she originated in the Darth Vader comic. She was an archaeologist working for the Empire. She was with the good guys and the bad guys, so she's more in the gray zone. She hasn't have like a really alliance to someone specific, and she herself have become extremely popular, and she has even her own comic book series now. So maybe she will show up in this series. That would be fascinating to see. Now, let's talk about the spikes. And those spikes, they were very famous in the Star Wars, the Clone Wars series by Dave Filoni, and we also get to see them in the Solo movie. Now, the Pike Syndicate is the top supplier of spice. Yes, this is very similar to Dune. So maybe they will have changed the name, but they still use the name. So the spice, the spice are mined by on the planet Castle by slaves, and is that is infamously accessible by only by the Castle Run, which the Millennium Falcon famously they enlist the 12 persons. You know, the story that Han Solo always talk about. So also Boba Fett seems to take an issue with how the spies are minds, and it's rightful to do so. They're using slaves to do that. So let's start with the beginning. Now this is chapter 2, the tribes of Tatooine. Now I'm a little bit concerned here because I think the telling two stories at the same time. You have the present and you have the past with the flashbacks. But I think this episode feel that doesn't have enough time for both of them, and one will get prioritized over the other one. Now, like the flashback here were very cool. I mean, you had the cool action train sequences, but and I liked them a lot. But it was I think the was in the present here. It was very interesting with the opening and all of that, and I think it was a little bit of a bummer to abandon that because most of this episode was in the past. So next we get to the assassin who is from the Order of the Night Wing. And I really like this. The Fene, she was so funny here. When she was like, you pay, she tells Boba Fett, you paying only for the name. But the assassin wouldn't talk because he has a reputation to live by. But Fennec tells that perhaps he fears the Rancon, the famous master below, the Luke Skywalker killed. So the dumping in there, but of course there was no Rancon here. But he didn't know that, so he told him that he was hired by the mayor. So Boba Fett goes to see the mayor and he brings the assassin in. Now the assassin wasn't supposed to operate on on that territory, so the mayor kills the assassin, orders one of his guards to kill him. And it was interesting because the mayor gives some advice to give Boba some advice. And he says running a family is more complicated than a bounty hunting. And I think there is some things that we're going to understand here because Boba Fett is now like a part of the family in terms of the Tusken Raiders into the tribe. So very interesting things here. So then he goes to the sanctuary, to the cantina, and they say that hey, you can sit over there in the bar and we'll get to you. And whoa, no respect for Boba Fett. What's going on here? So the twins arrive, the Hutts, and looks like they once Jabba's old territory. And then Boba Fett started if you wanted, you had to take me down to kill him. And they started arguing, and they said that we will deal with this later. And Boba Fett says to Fennec, or Fennec says to Boba Fett, they was very. It's not that easy to just go and kill them. And I think were I was expecting a big action sequence or fight between Boba Fett and the badass Wookiee Santi, But I think that is coming, but not for this episode. So we go back to the tank and we get some more flashbacks. Now, I like this cool Tusken Raiders who is wears all black and is teaching Boba Fett. And we also get more information about the Tusken Raiders with the leader saying how they have problems once the oceans of Tatooine dry up. So I guess that's where the water will line, which is why they have those those masks. And I'm very fascinated by that. That's something I really want to see. So Boba Fett training with the Tusken Raider on how to use the Gadify, the weapon of the Tusken Raiders. This is important because this is actually the story of how Boba Fett gets his. Now Boba Fett at the night where there is the firing and all that, he spied those speed bikes and he goes to the bar and he, he fight all of the speed bikes gang who are being very rude and very bad to some people there, and he takes all of the speed bikes and then he teaches how he teaches the Tusken Raider how to ride the speed bikes. So that was very cool. They did that like some of a montage because the running time of the episode, but it was very cool to see. Now, then we get to the train chase scene. Was very nice. It was very western. This show has very western element and a western feel, and so good to see that. And I think that scene was just fantastic, really fun to watch. So they managed to take over the train. Then the train conductor, the droid, just abandoned the train. It was very good to see. And then they have some uh, uh, pikes as prisoners. So Boba Fett talking with the leader. He says who's the leader. Then he tells that they have to pay for protection money to the Tusken Raiders, and they have to walk home and doings from, and also he doings for the black melons, and that's the where the water is now. And then he goes, we will let you go as a gesture of civility. And then they go back to the camp, and then Boba Fett receive a gift from the Tusken Raider, and that's where we get more information about the the problems. The Tusken leader said they have problems once the oceans of Tatooine dries, and so I guess that was when where the water will in. So very curious to follow that storyline. Very fascinating. Now and then he he goes on a vision quest and he sees his past, and it was a very cool shot with him as a boy in Camino. I really like that shot. So I think here maybe he's like reborn of as a Boba Fett, and he's like in this tree and having this vision and all this water, and he's like breaking free, and then he stumbles on in the desert and he comes back with the tree branch. With that, where he makes his own Gantify with that tree branch, and he gets the new clothing, and he's really fully accepted in the tribe of the Tusken Raider. And then we get this fun final scene with the dance, and that's where Boba Fett become part of the track. Where I really enjoyed that, and the music they have over here, I think it was just something great to watch. So yes, that's my breakdown for episode 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of the show so far, if you like it, if you didn't like it. And I think we're going to get uh, those cameos are coming maybe in the next episode, but yes. And we have those packs now, so maybe we'll get some Kyria cameo here. Very fascinated by that. So hit the like button, share this video, and please consider subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.